Hey folks, it's Matt Spencer, StarCraft's resident boater, and on this week's episode of StarCraft Summer Fun, you may notice that we're nowhere near water. In fact, we're in a big empty parking lot. That's because we're going to talk all about tips for trailering your StarCraft pontoon. So right away, I think the big thing you'll notice is, well, exactly that the 23MX is a big rig when it's sitting on the trailer. I think this intimidates a lot of people, but trust me when I say that the bigger or the longer the trailer, the easier it is to back up. And that's the hardest part about trailering. So what I've done today is what I suggest is come to an empty parking lot to practice those maneuvers. And that's what we're gonna do today. But first, let's talk about hooking up to the truck. So before we get moving, let's talk trailer basics. What you see basically is what you get here. We have our tire stand for when we're not hooked up to the truck. That moves forward to our coupler, our trailer ball, receiver, safety chains, lights, and pin. So I would essentially back my trailer up, line it up, close my coupler down, lock in the pin. Now this trailer is also equipped with surge brakes, meaning that when you press the brakes, the coupler drives in and activates brakes on the trailer tires to help you stop better. So if you're backing up, you have to insert the locking key that stops that from happening. Now your safety chains, you always want to make sure that they cross over each other. That way if something happens and the tongue falls off the hitch, it lands in the chains themselves. So you always want to make sure for that, and that they're locked over top with, that they have the catches on them as well. Not just the hooks, but the catches so that when they snap in tight. I have my lights attached, they're all working, so I'm ready to hit the road. So like I said, it's good to come to a big empty parking lot for you to practice. Again, I think the sheer size of the trailer is the most intimidating thing. So what you can do here is just drive around, get the feel of how the boat affects the acceleration of the truck, and as well stopping. Now one thing to consider though is that it's behind you and it's far behind you. So when you turn, you have to take turns wider. So we have lamp posts here that we can use to just get comfortable with how far or how close the trailer might come to an object as we turn. Now going in reverse, that's a whole different story. And that's the hardest part, and that's the payload, because that's how we need to get the boat into the launch ramp. So that's why I recommend practicing. And the biggest thing is that it's going to be backwards. If you turn the wheel right, the trailer is going to go to your left. If you turn your wheel to the left, the trailer is going to go right. Instead of having both hands on the wheel, put one hand down at the bottom of the wheel. Just one hand. Now, you want the trailer to go left, move your hand to the left, and there it goes. You want the trailer to go right, move your hand to the right. The important thing is to do not shift your hand. Keep it down so you always have that center. Your center is always down at the bottom of the wheel. So I use my mirrors. The best part, that's a good idea, is don't look back like this, because that's when you're gonna get confused. Stare ahead, use your mirrors. Your mirrors are gonna give you your best vantage point. So I want to square up a little with that line, and then now just make small adjustments. Again, closer to the line. Now line it up and bring the truck around. It's really not that difficult. Once you get in here and try it, use objects, you'll find trailering's not nearly as intimidating as it seems. So like anything with trailering, practice makes perfect. But like I said at the start, come to an empty parking lot and do exactly that. Practice. But otherwise, loading the boat is the same as offloading. Back that trailer in 3/4 of the way, depending on the grade of the ramp, enough so that you can get your nose onto the trailer and then slowly power it forward until it becomes lined up. It doesn't have to be perfect every time. It takes me 2 and 3 tries sometimes, but once I get that nose locked in, I slowly power ahead until I hit the stops on the trailer, and then I can use those stops to make sure that my back end is in line so that when I pull out, it's completely down the bunks of the trailer. And the best thing that you can do is to get out and practice. Try new lakes, have new adventures, and get out there on the road. And of course, always use the hashtag StarcraftSummerFun so that we can see and share in on your adventures as well. So until then, we'll see you out on the water, or in this case, I'll see you on the road.